Hey everybody, welcome to the 11/11 portal reading, and this is going to be for all signs. I'm going to have a little introduction, just a really brief one about the 11/11 portal, and then I'm going to jump into the readings. It's going to be for each zodiac sign, and I'll have timestamps in the description box below for each of those signs. So if you already know about the 11/11 portal and you don't want to hear any more, you can just jump right to your reading right now. I would also check out both your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign just to get a full picture, because this is going to be about the 3 years that have been going on here. The 11/11 portal, why it's important is 11 is a master number. And so it kind of brings in this accelerated energy. So you'll have like new opportunities will be accelerated in the physical world. You'll have movement in your life, in pretty much any area you can experience it in. And as well as you can have a spark to like a higher awareness, just a higher communication with the higher realms as well. So that's like around the 11/11 portal itself. But the energy you carry with you from year to year. And what you look at, like last year, on November 11th, 2020, if you add all those numbers together, you know, the 1 plus the 1 plus the 1 plus the 1 plus the 2 plus the 0, 2, 0 is the number 8. This year, 2021, would add up to a 9, and next year in 2022, it adds up to a 10. Numerologically, the number 8, like for last year, the number 8 is like a time of learning. It's a time of growth and understanding. So if you look from November 11th of 2020 all the way up to this one, you can look back and go, wow, what did I learn during this period of time? Because it was this important period of time for us to learn about ourselves, around our thoughts, our beliefs, our mindsets, things along those lines. And now, with it coming to a 9, the 9, you're getting close to the 10, which is endings and new beginnings. So this next 2021 to 2022 is really going to be about rapid growth, change, the closing out of things. You know, it's like when you're preparing to leave a location, you're getting all the details done, and things start happening faster because you know that like kind of the deadline's coming up in a way. So you're going to be seeing a lot of this, letting things go that no longer serve you, reflecting back on what you learned, and you're like, okay, I don't need that in my life anymore. So a lot of that will be going on from 2021 to 2022, and then 2022 to 2023 is going to be, it adds up to the 10, and that is going to be endings and new beginnings. So we're going to have this life-changing type of thing. Like, think of it kind of like we've been in the cocoon during, you know, this next year, 2021 to 2022. It's the dissolving of things. You know, when a caterpillar goes into the cocoon and it starts dissolving the old ways, this is going to be what this year is about. And it, you know, it starts off as a slow process, but as it gets to being spring, when it's going to come out of the cocoon and be the little beautiful butterfly, things start happening fast, and it starts developing more. And so that's the kind of energy that we're going to have through this time. But 10 is when you come out of that cocoon and you just make this, you make decisions, you make these transformations. So next year, 2022 to 2023, the November 11th portal, 11/11 portal, you're going to see those kind of things happen. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump into each reading, and what we're going to ask, I'm actually going to see what the Creator wants us to know about, you know, what did we learn from 2020 to 2021? What is going to be finishing up from 2021 to 2022 for us? And then what is this new ending and beginning going to look like from 2022 to 2023? I'm just going to take like a card for each of those periods of time, just to see generally what the Creator would like to bring to our attention. And then I'm going to pull another card just to get an overall feel around this 3-year process what message the creator would have. So I'm going to jump into Aries first. If you want to jump to one of the other signs, the timestamps are in the description box below. All right, my Aries, so we're going to jump in here, and first of all, we're just going to pull cards for each of those 3 years, as I mentioned in the intro, and just see what the creator wants you to know. First of all, for 2020 to 2021, that period of learning, creator, what do you want our Aries to realize that they learned during that period of time, please? Whoa, evidently you learned a lot. A little slippery here. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so you got 2 for that. And then from 2021 to 2022, what's finishing up in your life over this next year? And then from 2022 to 2023, what is this ending and new beginning going to be looking like for you? Well, yeah, they do want all 3 of these for you here. All right, so what have you learned from last till this point? And you've got the Knight of Coins here. Actually, let me do it this way here. So you've got the Knight of Coins, and the Knights are normally all about movement and action. Coins are pentacles in a regular suit, and that's about your outside world, about your abundance, and all those things you interact with in the outside world. But the difference with this Knight among the other 3 is that when you have the swords, that's your mind, and cups are your emotions, and wands are your spark, and all that. That's all of this internal stuff that goes on. But this is about the outside world. All those other 3 move fast because you can change your mind and emotions, and the spark, and like your inspiration, that can change in an instant. But things on the outside world move in seasons, and every season happens on purpose for a purpose, and they happen in order for everything to happen and for things to grow and things to thrive and live. So I really feel like you've learned over this last year that there's things in the outside world that you cannot control, and you can't control the timing, and you just kind of have to let it unfold. And I kind of really felt, even when I was shuffling, I felt like patience, and I really feel like you have learned a lot of patience during this last year. And it's kind of like the serenity prayer of, you realize you're able to change the things that you can, and the things that you can't change, you just go with the flow, because there's nothing else you can do anyway around controlling those external things. Yeah, and then you have Justice. So you've got Justice here. He holds this is the Ace of Swords here. And the Ace of Swords is what brings you capital T truce versus the small t truce. And the balancing here is the balancing of the physical world, our ego and our fight or flight being, and this is the higher self, that's where the capital T truths come from spirit, from your soul. So also over this last year, you have really understood, and I can definitely understand with everything that's been going on since last year around this time, especially in the United States, you realized, can I really trust what everyone is saying, what media is saying, what, videos say, and everything else that, all over the internet, whatever. You realize, what? I don't have to take on everyone else's opinions as my own. I get to have my own opinion and follow my inner capital T truths. I don't have to try to prove that my truth is truer than someone else's truth. It's really like this patience that's coming in here too with other people, with where they're believing and where they're coming from. You really have learned a lot with that. Which brings us into this portal coming up here tomorrow, because this is coming out on the 10th. And you've got so you got the Palace of Swords. And swords, again, are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, your attitudes. And the palace is a place, it's a beautiful place. You do have the knights represented here too. So this is action on your changing of thoughts. And, this beautiful Ace of Swords, which gives you the power to cut away those old beliefs that no longer serve you, to, really zero in and go beyond all the opinions that you've been conditioned with growing up on this is how things have to be, supposed to be, should be, need to be. And the Palace of Swords brings you to this beautiful place that feels safe and comfortable. It kind of almost feels like peace of mind as well. Like over this next year, you really get clarity on your thoughts and your beliefs and how you think things should be. Again, cutting away those things that no longer serve you. And so this process is speeding up. I really feel like this last year was almost like grueling. It's kind of like the feeling when you first start working out or you first exercise and you just feel, oh my God, I just can't stand it. And you have, the pains and you have, the aches, and you just don't have the drive. But after a while, after you get used to it, then you start to be able to move faster. You are able to do more. You can become stronger. And that's kind of what I felt with this swords and these thoughts that are coming in, that you really have made this transition with that. And then for 2022 to 2023, so the endings and beginnings that are happening, and I love that you got the Wheel of Fortune here. And I'm sorry, I keep on doing it this way. I have my camera different now, so you are seeing it from my viewpoint. But the Wheel of Fortune, and it's a 10, which is what that year is a 10 year. The Wheel of Fortune brings you this awareness that everything that happens in your life happens on purpose, for a purpose. Before you come down here, you're a soul, and you choose, this is when you're going to come down into this game, and this is when you're going to leave this game. This is the avatar, the character that is going to play you, and that you're going to interact with everyone else during this time. And then you have all these fated events that you want to have happen in your life, all these circumstances and these things that to happen, so that you can grow and learn and understand more about who you really are in the other realms. And so this is all about understanding that your life is not this out of control drama train that's about to leap the tracks and go diving down deep into this gorge where it dramatically explodes, but it's more like a monorail train, like at Disneyland, where it's this train that's attached to the track. It goes smooth. It has all its stops, and it happens on schedule, right? So it's the big message for it is that everything happens for you, and that life does not happen to you. So it makes sense that as you're letting go of these beliefs and finding these higher truths, that this is a huge truth that really comes to you and comes to a head at the end of 2022 as you're going into here. Yeah, and then you have the star, which the star here, is about hope. It's about bringing these magical living waters. That is the unconditional love of the creator of all things. And so it makes total sense with all this. And I'm loving just how these interact with each other, because, as the star, you understand your higher self. This is connecting to this brightness of who you really are. And as I talked about with the soul, coming and, choosing all these things to come down. Before you came down here, you're understanding and connecting to that higher side of you as well. So I'm loving that too. Yeah. And then you have the Two of Coins, which would be the Two of Pentacles. And the Two of Pentacles, for me, represents this balance between the heavens and the earth, kind of like with this Justice card, where you're understanding how things work in the physical world, but you're also seeing things from that higher perspective now, both with the Wheel of Fortune, the awareness of how everything is happening for you and on purpose, and then connecting to your higher self. So in the physical world, you're going to be bringing in and bonding that together, understanding that there are two parts of yourself that are living this life with you, this human ego that you came down, the character that you're playing, but also the actor behind the character as well. So you have this understanding, and you bring that into the earthly plane. So it's it's kind of like you're with this awakening of who you really are, and this greatness of who you are. You're able to walk so differently hand in hand. Not, a lot of spirituality, sometimes we are taught you must destroy your ego. It is, your shadow, it's bad, which really it's a brave part of ourself that chose to come down here to experience all of that stuff in the physical world, to feel separated from, that unconditional love that's on the other side. So I love that for you there. And then I'm going to pull one final card from this Divine Guidance deck, and to see what the message the Creator has just for this whole journey that you've been on, from, learning to, finalizing things, to this new rebirth of endings and new beginnings that will come about in 2022 to 2023. All right, Creator, what's your final message for our Aries, please? Okay. They said no, not those. That was my bad. This is the one. Yep. And you've got card number 33. Did you see that there? I'm going to put it right here. And let's see what message comes with that. It is also a master number, which for me, master number 11 is about understanding how your ego works in this world, and then you expand into kind of this, master 22, which is your understanding that there is more than just your human side, and then 33 is this bonding together and walking upon the earth with the awareness that you are a spiritual being. And this one is Lion Guide, is the name of the card. And it says, the Lion Guide is here to help you awaken the sleeping lion that lies within you. Your inner lion is powerful, resourceful, and mighty. You really do hold the strength and courage to do whatever needs to be done. So it's time to let the world hear you roar. Lion Guide is here to help you realize that you do rule your inner and outer worlds, and to energetically claim your throne as the right ruler of your kingdom, right? Your palace. Once you do, you will step into a role as a leader with ease. So I love that, because you realize and you learn throughout all this, especially during this coming year, starting this November 11th, you understand that your thoughts, your beliefs are yours. You've taken those opinions on from others, but you can also cut those away with that Ace of Swords. So this is a beautiful, movement towards this higher way of thinking, this higher way of being. So I love that for you. And that's what this whole journey for you, specifically over these 3 years, it's been kind of high intensity for you. So you haven't been imagining it. It's been happening for a reason. But it's like the worst of it is over. This initial learning process is the one that, when you're trying to learn something new, and it's like, I've got to get it, and I got to repeat it, and then it's like you've learned it, and now you're applying it and sifting through things to just really spark this beautiful ending and beginning and transformation here. All right, well, I'm going to leave that there, and we're going to go on to the next sign. So thank you for watching, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. You take care. All right, all my Taurians, this is your 1111 portal reading, and we're going to start off here with these Tarot of Dreams deck, and we're just going to pull some cards for each of those 3 periods that I talked about in the introduction. The first is going to be what you learned from 2020 all the way up to 2021. So Creator, what would you like our Taurians to know about what they learned? Nope, none of those. Okay, they said this one right here. And then for this year, from 2021 to 2022, what's going to be finishing up? What's going to be coming to completion and kind of finishing and baking in the oven? And then from 2022 to 2023, what's that ending and new beginning going to look like for you? What is ending and beginning, or what does the Creator want you to know? Of course, you had tons of stuff happen during this period of time, but this is what the Creator wants to bring to your attention for this process here. So we'll start off here first. You've got the 9 of Coins. So this last year for you has been about abundance and about realizing about your dreams, and Pentacles or coins are about your abundance, your outside world, kind of the physical world. So it's been like this awareness of what's truly important to you in the physical world, things that you thought were, like deal breakers that would, literally kill you, right? You've learned that the outside world is not as, I don't want to say important, but it feels like that. It's like those things were not as important as the attention and energy that you gave to it. The 9 of Coins, Pentacles, she's in a garden. She's learned self-sufficiency. She's learned to find her abundance and worth from within. She still has her feathered friends here, so you still have your, your higher realm, spiritual contacts, your loved ones on the other side. You still have that support from the invisible world, but the physical world, you just learn to be very independent, and that you don't have to, like I said, those things that you thought would end your life if they were moved out of your life, whether it was a job or a person or a home or a vehicle, something in the physical realm, something even physically with your body, anything that might have happened, you're like, you know what? It's not as important as I thought it was. And so that was like this lesson that you've been learning since November 11th of last year up until this point. And then from this year, so from 2021 to 2022, what's finishing up and what's kind of coming to a completion is the Devil card. And don't freak out, this is actually like our shadow. And you can see like this caged feeling that you have here. The door is wide open. And what I love about in a lot of the tarot decks, it'll show, like this evil character, shadowy character, and the chains around the people's necks are very loose. They could just take them off. And in one of my favorite decks, they have like his hand is open and the chains are just like this. So doesn't have a firm grip on the chains holding people back. They could just walk away and it would slip right out of the hands. And I always get this picture of like Dr. Evil from Austin Powers, the comedy movie, where the shadow brings us the information about what is making us feel limited, what is making us feel trapped and small and restricted. And it's kind of like Dr. Evil does with Austin Powers in all those movies, where he's like, this is my evil plot and plan. And people even go, why are you telling him, he's going to escape and, stop you. But he'd always do that. And that's kind of like the shadow is like, it's showing us during this next year, what is holding you back? What is making you feel restricted? And it's winking at you going, this is what's keeping you trapped. Wink, wink. Like you can escape from that if you want, because you're the one, it's your thoughts and your beliefs and your mindsets that are keeping you restricted. And so this will allow you to escape and get out of there. And he actually has a jester hat on, which for me, that is like the Fool card, which is your soul. So this is really telling you that connecting and understanding during this period of time what limiting beliefs, questioning those beliefs is going to be an important piece. Now, just know during this next year that the messages that come from our shadow are not subtle, because this is like the next step and it's so perfect with this being the number 9, with this rapid growth and change and closure of things, because it's what comes after the Devil card is the Tower, which is the removal of things from your life that to make room for the new, which is exactly what the number 9 year is doing. So this energy is so perfect for what's going to be going on. And the advice I would give for that period of time, or where that spirit is wanting to let you know, is that when you see multiple things happening, because I said, the shadow's not subtle in how it brings the messages. You're going to see like the same types of situations in a lot of relationships around you, that they're experiencing something and they're sharing it with you, or those kind of interactions are happening between you and someone else, or a job or something like that, where you're like, oh, obviously there's a message here. The example that I have for this last year was, it's like a friend of mine, they lost their husband. Another friend lost, someone they cared about in their lives, for a total different reason than, this person did. My mom's neighbor passed away. Another friend of mine, a dear friend, tried to end their life. Another one had a mentor that they really looked up to that passed. All within a matter of a week, I heard all this. And so it's very obvious. It's like, okay, there's something about loss that I am evidently need to look at. And that's kind of how that will work, is during this next year. You won't have to worry about subtle messages. They're going to be very in your face. So just know that it's happening for you, and for you to release, to go into this next period of time, which we're going to look at, which is from 2022 to 2023. Yeah. Faith. This is usually the Hierophant, which I love this Faith, because this is all about trust, and here's the Taurus. So this is your card. This is your understanding. Capital T trust, not trust in these outside world things, right? Because that's what you've been learning about. This is you're letting go of a lot of those beliefs and expectations and shoulds and supposed tos and have tos and need tos that have been caging you in. And now you're learning to trust the process of life. You're learning to trust the Creator, Spirit, and all that beautiful support you have on the other side. You're really opening up to understanding what it is you want with your life, what no longer serves you. Like it said, in this whole new beginning is this place of trust that you can come to, where you understand that everything that's unfolding for you is unfolding on purpose, for a purpose, right? I also love that with the Hierophant, there's like two sides of the Hierophant. One is this loving, spiritual leader, the spiritual place that we come from, where, as it's like someone with that organized religion, because from their heart of unconditional love, like if we come together in love, we can make such an impact on the world, where one can do so much, two can do, more than 2 times as much, where 3 even more so. And so they, gather together to make this beautiful, beautiful change and beautiful impact on the world. Then the human ego gets in when fear comes in, where, we fear we're going to lose power, and we feel like we need to be in control because we feel unsafe when we're not in control. So we try to gain more control and take control away from others. And that becomes, more like a cult leader, kind of feel to it, a dictator type of feel, where it's not of unconditional love anymore. And I really feel like that's where you're coming from, is you understand that ugly, darker feeling that was there before, because of it could have been from an organized religion that you were involved in, where whatever individuals you were interacting with did not reflect unconditional love to you. It actually, you felt caged and suppressed like this, right? But this is the freedom that comes knowing that there's another side to the Creator. That's why I call him the Creator. I mean, God, for me, because of the different organized religions I was in different places, really made it feel like it was this person up in the heavens watching us, waiting for us to make a mistake to condemn us. Because I have a different relationship with the Creator now, outside of this cage, outside, a personal relationship, outside of any organization of any kind, you can have this higher place of trust and faith in the Creator, knowing that rather than it being this abusive kind of father that's just waiting for you to mess up, to really to being this nurturing, loving, supportive mother and father of all things that wants us to be happy and joyful, and to feel loved. And so that's that transition that can happen as you free from this here. And then I'll pull a card here from the Divine Guidance deck, and just overall this journey that you've been on for this last 3 years, just what the Creator wants you to know about this process, this adventure that you've been on. All right, Creator, what do you want our Taurians to know about this 3-year adventure that they've been on for these 1111 portals, please? Okay. It's all about love, baby. There you go. Sorry, I'm getting used to this angle of this camera. So I'm going to put that right here. I love that. Beautiful rainbow hearts. And let's see what message comes with that one. Yeah, it's heart, mind. Learning to operate from the heart is one of the single most important things we can do. It is now time to activate your heart chakra to its fullest potential. Spirit is asking that you take time to sit within the energy of your heart. Learn to breathe through your heart while you meditate by focusing your breath in your heart. Feel the loving energy you inhale and allow it to fill you. Let each exhale also be love-filled, and feel this love filling the space around you. Through this daily practice, you become one with your heart-mind, operating fully from a place of love. So pretty much sums up what we were talking about, right? So this journey is releasing you from this cage of conditional love laws from the outside world that we have been, kind of fed to us our entire lives. We didn't know any better when we were younger, because we just take everything that everyone's saying and take it on as our own beliefs and opinions and thoughts. But this whole process, this that you went through, understanding that the outside world is unstable, right? When you have your definition of who you are or your worth dependent on the outside world, it feels unstable because people are unstable. They'll change or they pass away. Situations never stay the same. And things break down, deteriorate, burn down, or are stolen. So if we're defining ourselves by that, that's when we felt unstable. That's what you were learning to come back to here. And then you're learning that all those conditional love laws, all those thoughts and beliefs you have that are just clawing at you every day, they're coming into your face for you to realize how unstable they are, so that you can be freed. So this is happening for your freedom. And then you're finding this loving side of this belief and trust in the Creator and the other side, instead of this, fearing that, this character that we've been introduced to in our life, this is the one that would be the one punishing us. This Creator, our Mother and Father of all things, is an unconditionally loving being. No conditions, not one, because that's all it takes to be conditional, right? So I love this for you. Definitely, like it says, meditate on this and let love fill your heart. And I'm going to leave this reading here. Hopefully this was helpful, and I'm going to move on to the next sign. Until then, I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon. So you take care. All right, all my Geminis, welcome to your 1111 reading. And we're going to start off here with these Tarot of Dreams cards. And I'm going to pull cards for each of those 3 periods I talked about in the intro. And the first being for 2020 to 2021, just what the Creator wants you to know that you learned during that period from the 1111 portal until this one. And that brings us to this portal, 2021 to 2022. And just like what's finishing up, what's going to be coming to completion, what's being finalized, which brings us into the 2022 to 2023, which is what beautiful ending and new beginning does the Creator want you to know about? Like what does that look like? So for what you learned over this past year, we got the Palace of Cups. Cups are our emotions, and this Palace of Cups is all about movement in your emotions, and it definitely makes sense over this last year. It's been a very emotional time for most of the world for the last couple years, but this last year has been really an understanding of your emotions. You learned a lot about what you feel, why you feel that you do, and so you've been doing some pretty good inner work, which doesn't surprise me. Geminis are very much in their heads a lot of the time. And so getting into cups, getting into your emotions was kind of like this new adventure. It was this learning experience. And so you really got into the roots and the nitty gritty of a lot of the triggers of what was making you feel a certain way. Whereas before you were kind of focusing in on making decisions and like awareness of your life through your mind. This last year has really been about emotions. And it's not that you've been an emotional mess or anything like that, but you probably went around it a very methodical way, looking at and understanding the depths. Being Geminis, you do have this natural two-sided essence about you where you can see things from two different perspectives, and this emotional side was really I kind of just feel like I see this light bulb on your head, and it just really brought a lot of awareness into your life about why you do the things you do, why you feel the way you do, why you react the way you do, and it's been very beneficial for you. And then coming up from 2021 to 2022, you've got the Nine of Cups, which this makes total sense. So after you've been doing all this and you've been feeling more comfortable about being in your emotions, you've got the Nine of Cups, which is all about it's kind of like the wish fulfillment card, the emotional wish fulfillment. And you've got this beautiful like wholeness about you, where before you kind of felt like the Cups was a scary place to be. It was more of a haunted house to go into instead of this beautiful palace. Now you celebrate your emotions. You allow yourself to feel emotions. So this next year with this beautiful foundation, kind of feel like the palace was this, very strongly, brick by brick over that last year, you just built this beautiful, safe place for you to feel emotions. In this next year, you get to feel the feels, and you don't judge yourself for it, and you allow yourself for it. And a lot of times you don't have to act upon feelings, but you allow yourself to feel them, even though you don't take action on them, right? And that brings us into this next year from 2022 to 2023, November 11th of 2022 to that following year. This is all leading you up to this ending and beginning for you here. And you've got the Page of Wands, and Wands is your drive, your ambition, your spark, your aha inspiration. It's also your spiritual energy. And pages, one piece of the page is that they're messengers. They're the ones that would come out and go, hear ye, this is the blah, blah, blah. And for me, because this is spiritual energy, and with the pages, it means that you're going to be connecting and being able to hear and get and see those messages that are going to be coming from Spirit during that time. So this really has a lot to do, about your intuition, about connecting to the higher realms too. The other side of the page are usually they're younger children. And if you think back to like when you were like 2 years old, before you started being told, all those rules and limitations, and this is how things have to be and should be and need to be. You had this kind of this energy of like anything is possible. Look, I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be an alien. You have this beautiful, refreshing energy coming in that it's like anything is possible. I don't need to know the how. I'm going to, pursue what I want, and I'm going to be wide open to possibilities. And so I love that for you, because this is that newness that's coming in, like endings and new beginnings. This new energy is what's coming in. Yeah. And you got the 10 of coins. This is like the 10 of pentacles. The 9 of pentacles is about, you being, kind of like this 9 of cups, where you feel self-sufficient and you feel whole and complete with yourself. The 10 of cups would be it flowing out to every relationship with you, but this is all about you inner. Well, the 10 of coins is about this abundance, this feeling of wholeness and completeness rolling out into your physical world. I kind of look at it because this is like the Kabbalah tree of life, or tree of knowledge, I think is what they call it too. And it's this awareness that everything happens on purpose for a purpose. Each of those is like a piece of our beingness. It's a part of our transformation, going from the little small us up all the way back up and returning back to the beautiful sea. It's like the journey of a drop that evaporates from the sea and goes up, because it becomes steam and evaporates, goes up and becomes part of a cloud. It moves across the sky to a different place, and then it, falls to the earth as a raindrop or a piece of hail or a snowflake, and it goes down, and it becomes, a puddle, then it joins together to become a stream, then a river, and then it flows down to the ocean to join it again. It's this beautiful process of leaving the sea to experience itself from a different perspective, to return back to that sea. And so this whole journey, really feel like this opens up a whole spiritual side to you, because our emotions and our heart is how we communicate to the other side. The other side is made of unconditional love. We truly are made of unconditional love. This character we're playing is made of energy. It's not the complete us. The little ego character is just a small piece of who we really are. It's a character we're playing here, but the actor behind that character is a powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love, and it communicates on the frequency of unconditional love and emotion. And so with all this emotional stuff you're doing, I really feel like you're having this kind of inner revival. You're reviving and connecting to this higher place. And we're going to take a look here too and pull a card here from the Divine Guidance card, just to get an overall feel of over these 3 years, last year, this coming year, and then the year after, with this learning, finalizing things, and endings and beginnings. What does the Creator want you to know about these 3-year journey, this piece of this adventure of yours? All right, Creator, for our Geminis, what do you want them to know about this 3-year portals here? And you've got card number 35. Oops, sorry. That's beautiful. I love all these purples and these indigo, and all those have to do with the third eye and the crown chakra, which is about connecting to your higher realms, right? Let's see. This is celebration. Yep, looks like celebration, right? It's time to take off your work hat and let your hair down. It's time to go have fun. Sing, dance, play, and be wild. Really let yourself loose. Let go of the stresses of your daily life for just a little while and get out and enjoy yourself like you used to before you grew up, right? This is what we were talking about with this Page of Wands. Your heart needs this, your mind needs this, and most importantly, your spirit needs this. So get out there and celebrate life, celebrate pleasure, and celebrate being you, capital Y-O-U. Yeah, I do. I love that. That's totally what we were talking about, right? So getting out of your mind, allowing yourself to feel emotion, have a great time. And yeah, definitely, I mean, this looks like celebrating, right? But it's not about having your emotions based on the outside world. This is about your inner emotions, your inner love, your inner happiness, and your inner, all the emotions connected to fear too. There's nothing wrong with any of those. We come here to experience those. That's all part of the bricks of the palace. We come here to experience and feel what we're not, back home to understand it more fully and completely. Usually sites like air, here we're surrounded by air and we breathe air and we don't realize it until we're underwater looking up at air and going, oh, there's no air under here to breathe, but there's air up there. So that's air and this is not air. And then I swim to go back to get air. And that's how, like on the other side, we're all beings of unconditional love. We're surrounded by it all the time. We don't know any different. We may not even realized in the beginning unconditional love existed because it's all we knew. But coming here and experiencing conditional love or fear and all those emotions attached to it, we understand more fully what we really are because we experienced what it might be like to not be that. So I love this for you. All right, well, I'm going to leave the reading here and go on to the next sign. So enjoy this 11/11 portal energy, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. Until then, you take care. All right, all my Cancer signs, this is your portal reading, and I'm going to start off by pulling cards here from these Tarot of Dreams. And we're going to pull a card, or cards, depending on how many come out, for each of those three areas I talked about in the intro. And the first one we're going to start off here is like what you learned from the portal, 11/11 portal from 2020 to 2021. So over this last year, Creator, what do you want our Cancer signs to know about what they learned? And then from 2021 coming up to 2022, we're going to be looking at what's falling away, or what's finishing up, more so. What's coming to completion, okay. And then that's leading us up to 2022 to 2023, which is the endings and the beginnings. Wow, those cards just came out fast for you. So this is what the Creator wants you to know about what this leads to, what's ends and begins, and what they want you to know about. So we'll start off with what you learned here. When you had the 7 of coins, and it's also like coins is normally also pentacles in other suits. This is about the outside world, and you can see here that she's patiently waiting for her fruit to grow, and you can't rush it. She's waiting. Her baskets are waiting. She's like, come on, be fruitful, be abundant, let's go. Ripe, ripen, ripen. And she's not picking the fruit too early. So this brings like this energy of being patient. And so over this last year, you learned about being patient for what you want, letting things come, and realizing that all that worry and that angst and anxiety that you had about things aren't coming fast enough, that it always came in perfect timing. You made it through 100% of all the altercations that you had over this last year, because you're here now watching that video, and if you weren't, didn't make it through, then you're watching this from the other side. So either way, you're fine. And it's beautiful about this, though, is that you also realized, as you were waiting for things to ripen and for things to come, that you're like, well, I really don't want that fruit anymore. So you could have been, planted a tomato plant and the tomatoes are still green, and you're like, you know what? I'm putting all this energy in tomatoes, and do I really want tomatoes? It gave you time to reflect and understand what you truly want. And so then you went and planted something else. Or you went into Strong Gut ice cream. You're like, I don't care about tomato plants. I'm going to get a gallon of ice cream. Whatever it is, you found this new understanding of what you truly want in your life and what you don't. And what you don't care about. There's also going to be things you're like, oh, I'm neutral. I'm still going to water the tomato plant because tomatoes are good. I'll eat them later, but I'm not so passionate about, I need that tomato now. So, this beautiful understanding, this growth and this learning over this last year about what you truly want and what matters in your life. And that brings you up to this coming up, and you've got, Knight of Coins. Again, Pentacles, like this card here. There's 4 knights in the deck for each of the suits. And out of the 4, this is the slowest moving, because the others are like swords are your thoughts, and cups are your emotions, and wands are like your spark and your ambition. Those things can change like that because they all happen inside us, right? But this is the outside world, and everything on the outside world goes through its seasons, right? We have a season that lasts about 3 months, and there's 4 of them, and they happen in specific order, and they happen in time. And this really, my heart goes out to you, Cancer signs, because this means that you guys have been through learning patience like crazy. But this is still movement, but it's movement within the seasons, and it still asks for you to be patient and apply it. So I really feel like you learned a lot about patience here in this next year, is you applying it and feeling free. And even though things may not be moving as fast as you would have previously been so adamant that it happens, this is that things are happening and things are moving, and you feel powerful about it. You feel empowered with this patience that you learned, allowing things to unfold, watching for the seasons, understanding that for every season there's a purpose, and for every purpose there's a season, and that people can come in and out of your life too for a season. Some people are for a moment, some people are for a lifetime, some people are for a certain period of time. And you've learned that with this here, and this is when you get to apply it. But when this was learning, it felt like pulling teeth. This is a free-flowing, powerful feeling around patience and around allowing things to unfold and go with the flow of the outside world. And that brings you up till 2022 to 2023. This is going to be like what the Creator wants you to know about endings and beginnings, what's transforming. Then we got the Palace of Cups. Cups are emotions, like I mentioned, and the Palace is like you've created this safe place to feel, to experience your emotions, but you don't have to necessarily act on it. And it was interesting because when I was talking about this, I really felt like, when I said the outside world, you're patient with how things are unfolding. The inner work that we do around patience can be amazing in life, transforming, right? Because we understand so much about, like we talked about here, about what you want and what you don't want, and why you want it and why you don't want it. And so at the end of this, with this learning you did, with this movement, and with this, finishing up of the understanding and practice of this, going with the flow, you come to this very calm place. I really feel like up above this ocean, there's this, 5.0 hurricane going on, but you don't feel it. You're down here in this peaceful, quiet, serene place because of this learning that you did and this applying of what you learned during this year. It allows you to move into this place that is totally just calm. And I know, being a water sign yourself, you're used to feeling emotions like amplified, right? And so this sounds like sweet music to you, doesn't it? To be able to move through life with understanding your emotions and not, judging yourself for it, not beating yourself up for feeling emotions, but just flowing with emotions and understanding that that emotion has a place in my life in this second, but it doesn't mean I need to act on it, and I can move onto another emotion in a moment when I'm ready. Yep, and then you have the Queen of Swords. And this makes total sense too. All the queens in the deck have water energy. They're the divine feminine, so it does bring in the emotional side. Swords are our thoughts, beliefs, mindsets, and attitudes, expectations. But she's the one that has learned, because she's toward the end of the suit and has connection to the emotional side, that making decisions totally from the mind doesn't necessarily always turn out for our best. Also, making decisions totally from our emotions also doesn't generally turn out for our highest benefit. And so she's about understanding the balance between heart and mind. She also yields this Ace of Swords here, which brings this it brings us capital T truths of the higher realms. We have these small t truths of the lower world based on our ego and fight or flight and blah, blah, blah. Opinion. And people are trying to prove to others that their truth is more truer than their truths. But this capital T truth that comes in is life-changing. And it allows you and empowers you to cut away those thoughts and those beliefs that no longer serve you. They served you for the time that they were. They gave you the experiences that they did. But now you're like, nope, I'm ready to let that go. And you're able to yield that sword and just slice it. And it's very, you're more easily able to let things go, both of mind and emotion as well. So I love that these came out together. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to pull a card here from these divine guidance. And this is going to be what the Creator wants you to know, just about this 3-year journey that you've been on, about what you're learning, what you were finishing up and completing, and then the ending and new beginnings. So we're going to see here for our Cancer signs. All right, Creator, what do you want our Cancer signs to know about this? Okay. And I did give you 2 cards. I love the blue. It's like the deep blue waters, right? So you've got 2 here. You get a little bonus. So let's do number 29 first. Yeah. And I love this too, because this is about speaking your truth. The Ace of Swords does too, because this is speak your truth. It is time to speak your capital T truth. You no longer need to hold back what you have to say for fear of what others may think. You are being asked to speak up and share your feelings, your wisdom, and whatever is on your mind. When you have something to say, yet hold your words back through fear, you create a blockage in your energy and life. Speak up. What you have to say is important and worth being heard. If you're a public speaker or have a desire to speak publicly, this card encourages you to use your voice and claim your power. So that's what this journey has been about, understanding what you want, understanding your empowerment, understanding your emotions and your mind, and that balance between the two, and speaking your truth, understanding, not, getting on your soapbox with those small t truths of opinion, of our physical, our ego that, is concerned about what everyone thinks and blah, blah, blah. But this is about speaking those higher capital T truths that you get with this Ace of Swords. So I am loving that. And then you have card number 40 as well. This is called Om, O-M. And the meaning of this card is twofold. Firstly, it is calling for more time in meditation and prayer. Energetically, you're needing some time alone with yourself in your inner space. Through meditation, you're able to connect more deeply with your higher self and your guides. Energetically, this is vital for you. Secondly, this card calls you to focus on the power of your voice to facilitate the opening of your throat chakra. This vocal expression, whether through chant, prayer, or even singing, is important for you. Yeah, so this journey is about you finding your voice and finding the courage and your power to share those beautiful truths that you have inside. So I love how this just came together for you. All right, well, I'm going to leave the reading there. Move on to the next sign. So enjoy this 11/11 portal energy, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon. Till then, you take care. All right, all my Leos, this is your portal reading, and we're going to start off by pulling some cards here from the Tarot of Dreams. I'm going to pull cards for each of those 3 periods of time I mentioned in the intro. The first being for 2020 to 2021, from November 11th to November 11th. And this is going to be what the Creator wants you to know about what you learned during this last year. Okay, that's the one right there. And then we're going to move into this upcoming November 11th, 2021 to 2022. And this is going to be what's finishing up, like what is completing in order for us to move into the 2022 to 2023, which is the endings and new beginnings. So this will be what the Creator wants you to know about what's ending and beginning, and what that energy feels like. So what did you learn this last year? And you got the High Priestess. So this definitely is about you learn to really tune into your intuition, into your gut, to trust your gut more over your mind, and also to connect to kind of the unknown, to your subconscious. You can see on the bottom here, there's a message here that says, darkness into darkness, the key to all mystery. She gets in tune with her moon energy. She, really, the High Priestess, she'll take time away to go into her temple, to meditate, connect to the moon energy, connect to the higher realms, connect to the deep subconscious and the unconscious, to get a hold of those mysteries, to understand the truth of things outside of the 5 senses, because the 5 senses are limited. I forget where I read it, but they're talking about, our brain takes in from our 5 senses so many, millions of bytes of information every second. But it only can process 0.000000006% of it, something like that. Just like very, very minute piece of what it is. And so we really don't know what's going on around us. We just understand a very small piece of what we're actually experiencing around us. And that's when we develop this 6th sense, where we see things from a higher spiritual perspective, from above, right? I really feel like this last year has allowed you to really hone in and tune your gut instinct, right? Where you hear someone say something, especially on the news or on the internet or in person or wherever, and you're just like, something doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel, and you find out later, oh, I see, that's what was really going on. So you really have learned over this last year to trust your gut, and which is bringing you into this next year, which is the Page of Swords. Swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, your attitudes, your expectations. And the page it's like twofold. The first piece of it, which totally goes with this High Priestess, is pages were messengers. They're the ones that went around saying, hear ye, hear ye. And so this means you're going to be getting messages into your mind, because it's the swords. So with this, gut instinct that you're having, that comes usually through emotions and feeling empathically, it can be through your mind as well. But this is like you're getting your brain tapped by spirit. Like you're not even thinking of someone or something, and all of a sudden this memory just starts playing in your head. And that is the spirit world letting you know, one, if it's about a person that you're remembering that has passed, they're like, this is them letting you know that they're around. It's also, if you have, suddenly thinking of someone who's still on the earth in physical form, you might reach out to them, and because that's your intuition activating memories for you to reach out to that person. And it'd be funny, you probably reach for the phone and they're calling you, right? That's probably a lot of what has happened over this last year too. You think of someone and it happens. But that's a piece of this. That's the messages that you'll be getting that'll be just popping and dropping into your brain out of nowhere. The other piece of the Page of Swords is pages are like children, and it's like going back to when you were young, like 2 years old, before you started to be conditioned so strongly about all the should be's and supposed to's and have to be's and everything. Your mind was wide open. You just didn't have these limiting beliefs and all these expectations. You just felt so free of mind. And I love this for you because, the High Priestess is very much about emotional waters. The swords are all about the brain. And it's like you learned how to fine-tune your emotional side. And this next year is you reintroducing and kind of integrating your brain with that new fine-tuned gut to jointly make decisions and jointly experience life in that manner. So this balance between head and mind, but just really having this huge open mind, letting go of so many things. He has the Ace of Swords here too, which brings you your capital T truths from above. It also empowers you to cut away those thoughts and those beliefs that no longer serve you, and allows you to be open-minded to receive new beliefs about life, to replace those old ones that you're cutting away. And that prepares you for this ending and beginning here, which is the Two of Cups. And for this, cups are our emotions. And sometimes, this is a general reading. This can mean that opens you up to a new partnership in a way, a new joining together of love at a higher level. But for me, it also, with the two, this is about joining together your human side with your spiritual side. One of these is like the human, and the other one is this, infinite being that you are on the other side. And so it's this coming together and this joining at a new level for yourself. So I really feel, there is this, here's the number 2, there's 2 swords here, there's this awareness that's coming here. And I'm going to pick another card here in a moment just to see what this whole 3-year journey is going to be for you. It has been for you, but I really feel it's like understanding and getting in tune with your deep emotions, and allowing yourself to become this cup, to allow more of your higher self, your spiritual self, to really fill you up and make you feel really this wholeness and this completeness with all that love that you feel, that unconditional love that you get from the other side. But we're going to pull a card here from the Divine Guidance deck here and just see what the Creator wants you to know about, this theme over these 3 years of this learning, during this year, and this finishing up of lessons here and applying them, and then what that allows you to end and begin in your life. And we're just going to see, what does the Creator want you to know about this 3-year period for our Leos? Okay, right here. You got card number 16. A lot of bright colors on that one. Let's see what message comes for this one here. Yeah, this is on target. So keep yourself focused on the outcome, goal, or result that you're aiming for. This card has come to you because you may be faltering or questioning yourself. Just let go of your doubts and fears. Your life and your goals are right on target. Keep your intentions clear. Stay grounded in your heart and follow whatever intuitive nudging you may feel. Spirit is working with you on an energetic level to help you bring your dreams to fruition. Yeah, so definitely it's about learning to trust your gut. And, it talked about in here about your mind, right? Which is these thoughts here when it said, letting go of your doubts and your fears. Your doubts and your fears are based on your thoughts and beliefs. And so this whole journey here is about connecting, like we said, to your intuition and your gut to understand what's really, from a higher your higher self in the other realm. What is truly that you're wanting in life? What are your true expectations? What are your fears that you're letting go? And this whole process is beautiful because it does allow you to connect to this higher realm and walk in hand, and that'll keep you on target. I'm feeling for some of you, again, general reading, but it's like the target that you started off with before this, you've changed it because getting in tune with your real desires and your real emotions has allowed you to refocus and realign on the direction you really want to go. And so that is the target that you are zeroing in on and heading off to. So I am loving that for you. Right, I don't think there's anything else on this one here for you. Actually, they do want me to pull one more card here, so I am going to use my intuition, because they want this one for you as well. Oops, you got card number 38. I'm going to put that right here. Yep, gentle release. It says the presence of Archangel Michael is here to assist you with clearing your energy field of old hurts and past experiences that are weighing you down and slowing your progress in life. He's here to help you cut the cords that keep you energetically attached to people and events that no longer serve you in a positive way. Michael always performs his duties with love and asks you to consciously send love to those people and things in your past so you may release them into the light and move forward with your life. Yep, so this is like, and this is 8 and 3 is 11. Yeah, which 11. I know these are number 2s, but it looks like, number 1s and number 1s. And this is number 11 as well. But that's beautiful because the Ace of Swords is known as Archangel Michael's sword. He's the one that brings the truth and helps cut through and slice and release those things. So definitely, clarification on this Page of Swords too, is it's not just about thoughts and beliefs, but it also is a release of emotions from people of the past, and that you can release yourself from all those restrictions, those chains that are binding you, that bitterness, that unforgiveness. And forgiving someone does not mean that you're letting them off the hook. It just means that you're releasing the wrath. You're not allowing your energy to be flowing into that black hole. It's like drinking poison and think it's going to hurt someone else. It's like, that poison is only impacting you. So letting that poison go and releasing that allows you to move forward. So I love that. All right. Well, we're going to leave the reading there. I'm going to move on to the next sign. And so hope you enjoy this 11/11 energy that's coming up. And I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. But until then, you take care. All right, all my Virgos, this is your 11/11 portal reading. And I'm going to start off by pulling cards here from these Tarot of Dreams. I'm just going to pull cards for each of those 3 periods that we talked about in the intro. And the first one being from 2020 to 2021, from November 11th to November 11th. This is going to be what the Creator wants you to know about what you learned over that last year. So Creator, what do you want our Virgos to know about what they learned? Okay. And then that brings us into this coming year, which is about, what's finishing up. You learn stuff, and how's that helping you, or what is finishing up over this next year? Oh. There we go. We got 3. Beautiful. And then all that comes to 2022 to 2023, and that's going to be, what does all this help us end and begin? What does that look like? Or what does the Creator want you to know about this ending and that beginning? So let's look into what you've been learning. So this last year is 2 of Cups, and Cups are your emotions. But I really feel what this card represents is, you have your lower human self and your higher spiritual self, the real you. This is a part of you, the character that you're playing on the earth, but this is the higher you. And this last year, you've really been making this connection that you're more than this human being, that you are this powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love. And the 2 of Cups is like this joining together. It's this awareness that there are 2 of you, that you don't have to destroy your ego and your shadow, but that it's a piece of you that came here to experience all the opposites of who you are, to more fully understand who your powerful self is. So we come here and play this little small character. This is what it feels like to feel small and limited and powerless. And in doing that, we understand how really big we are, how really powerful we are, and how limitless we are. And so this last year has just been this kind of tug of war. It's this going back and forth between, no, this is right. No, I am, my spiritual side needs to be the only one. Because we are taught in spirituality that when you become spiritual, you must destroy your ego. But this is understanding that our ego and our shadow is part of our being, has a purpose, and is a pretty brave part of ourself to have experienced or been willing to experience what it might feel like to be detached from, the amazingness that we are. And so it becomes this walking hand in hand together instead of this battle. And so this last year, that's really been what's unfolding for you. And then you've got, what's finishing up for you. 2 of Coins. So again, the 2 of Cups it's also this, but where this was emotional, this is that it's seeping out into the physical world. So, it was very much an internal process over this last year, but you're bringing it into the physical world, where you're not just using this beautiful, cohabitation of your higher self and your shadow self in your emotion in the inner world. You're allowing it to help make decisions and make impact in the physical world around you too. So what you learned on the inside, you're allowing to flow out to your outside this next year. Yeah. You got the Hermit. This is actually the Virgo card that represents you here. And so this next year, it is important to continue to have that alone time, making sure you're taking time for you to connect to this higher, person that you are. And I love that this is the 9, and we talked about that, this last year was an 8. When you add all the 11, 11 in 2020, when you add 11, 11, 2021, it equals a 9. And so this year, not that you have to be, this hermit up on a mountaintop away from everyone else. This is just about making sure you take alone time, because when you connect to your higher self, you do get so much more information. You get clarity, you get truth from the eye in the sky, right? Because your higher self is outside of time and space and can see things in a whole different way. And it's kind of this reminder too that, when this was in your emotional world, it was easier to kind of stay grounded in a lot of ways. But when you start moving out into the outside world, you can get sucked out into there again. And this is like this anchor, like, remember to stay connected and take time for you, take time for your higher self, and connecting to the spirit world as well. Because you get a lot of knowledge too, because the Hermit learn so much in their meditation and their reflection on life. So as you expand and do this in the physical world, doing this alone time and reflection allows you to see things clearer and clearer and clearer. I guess that's more clearly. Yeah. And then you've got temperance. And temperance is also this balance between the two, the waters of the earth, the fire of spirit. And so this is this balance between the heavens and the earth. Again, all these twos and twos really are coming into a strong place here. So that there is no doubt of what this message is for you during this period of time. This is like you started in the inner. This is all about continuing to do that and applying it in this beautiful way. It's like there's this, in a lot of the decks, they'll have like one cup and pouring into another. And there's this very alchemist type of feel about it, of transforming things, transforming your human side with that influence from the spiritual side. And it brings the living waters, from the heavens, and it pours it into the cup, the cup of the, usually this would be the two cups on the temperance card would look similar to this. So that's pretty fitting for this all here as well. So definitely over this next year, it's about you continuing to have that beautiful balance between the heavens and the earth, but making sure you're taking time alone as well, because that's bringing you up for this beautiful ending and beginning in 2022 and 2023. Yeah, and beautiful. You have the Chariot, which this is the victory card. It's also for me, though, that you really understand your power of choice during that time, and that you're able to really know that you get to choose what every moment means, what story you apply to it, what emotion you feel, whether you're going to act on the emotion or not. You are you're holding the reins, you're holding the control. You may not be able to control some situations that come into your life from the outside world, but you get to decide what it means, what story you apply to it, what emotions you're going to feel. So you still have so much control over the experiences that you have, and all this understanding of the heavens and the earth, and this balance, and especially with the emotions, understanding the emotional side of things. You get to choose all of that. And so it allows you to feel powerful, empowered, because the outside things don't determine how you're going to feel about life. You do, right? Yeah. Oh, and here's the death card. So this is the death and rebirth that it talks about here, endings and new beginnings. So this is definitely saying, yep, you're going to have major cycles that are ending, major things that you're going to choose to end because they no longer serve you. All this reflection, all this journey that you've had, you come to this point where you're able just to let it go, because you choose to. You see that it served its purpose for its time, but it's done, and you're ready for that restart and this new. I'm not concerned about it being a death card, because this Chariot card came first, which is all about victory, and it's a positive card. This is just letting you know that, yes, you do choose to end some things in your life. And then we're going to pull a card here from this Divine Guidance deck. And we are going to see just overall for this 3-year period what the Creator wants you to know about this adventure that you've been on. Like, what's the purpose for learning this and applying this and, finishing up this process to be able to have this ending, new beginning? What's the purpose of all this? What does the Creator want you to know about this 3-year period? So for our Virgos, okay. We should get 2. I'm going to do this one first. So you got card number 39. Put that one here. And then you also got card 14. Beautiful colors here. And we're going to put that one here. So we'll start with card 39. and that's resolution. It says, life is like a puzzle, and we put the pieces together in a way that fits for us. Until now, your puzzle hasn't seemed to fit together in a way that's made sense. What seems out of harmony will begin to feel balanced, right? Even though some things feel like they just won't work, shifts and adjustments are happening now. You'll find that things will start to fall into place and that everything will fit together perfectly in your life. Yep, so that's the purpose of this journey is, so much fell out of place and like a puzzle with a missing piece, right? But you have found that through this experience and over this next year to allow you to feel, full and whole and complete and victorious, right? Let's see what else for card 14 here. Oh, I love it. Gratitude. Gratitude is a very powerful energy which can open both the heart and the mind to all the wondrous blessings we're given. Take time each and every day to offer your deepest heartfelt gratitude for all that you have and are given. Make a conscious effort to look for all the good that is flowing into your life. Send your love to all those you cherish and love. Your acknowledgement of the divine flow, well, everything we talked about, right? That supports and provides for you, opens your energy in a powerful way. You'll become your own bright light, capital L light, even in the darkest of times. So I do love that for you because, this is all about, like we talked about, connecting to your higher self, heavens, the heaven and earth, connecting to your higher self. Definitely, that is what this journey has been over these 3 years for you, is to really, really connect you to being able to be grateful for whatever's coming into your life, because you get to choose your attitude about your gratitude. But definitely, I love the puzzle is being solved, and you just feel more whole and complete than you ever have, and that's what this whole journey for you has been, and will be for last year, this coming year, and the year after. So beautiful, beautiful energy coming in here for you for your November 11 portal. I'm going to move on to the next sign. So I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon, but until then, you take care. All right, all my Libras, this is your portal reading, and I'm going to start off by pulling the cards here from the Tarot of Dreams. I'm just going to pull cards for each of those 3 periods that we talked about in the intro. The first, of course, being what you learned from 2020 to 2021. So, Creator, what do you want our Libras to know about what they learned over this last year? Okay, so those 2. And then we're looking into this coming year from 2021 to 2022, from November 11th to November 11th. And this is going to be what is finishing up. You learned something this year, what's finishing up to prepare you for that ending and new beginning that'll be coming in 2022 to 2023. And this is for, okay, there we go. You got 3 cards for there. So that's going to be what the Creator wants to know about the ending and the new beginnings that are going to be happening in 2022 to 2023 from November 11th to November 11th. So what did you learn this last year? Justice. So understanding this is the Ace of Swords in the middle of the card here. And that is what brings you your capital T truths. It's this balancing between your smaller human self that's ruled by fight or flight and our higher spiritual self, the capital T truths. So over this last year, you've really learned to cut through the bull, is what I'm hearing. You've really, you are, of course, this is your card too. This is Libra up here. You are the balancer. You are the scale. You are, awesome seekers of truth. And so it's not surprising that you did find a ton of truths. You did cut through, a lot of all the information and the opinions of everything that's been going on in your life over this last year. So you were able to really balance those and understand and go, well, not quite sure that is the total truth there. But you've remained calm and collective through it. At least ended up being calm and collective through it, as you can see in the face here. It's very balanced. I know, like they say, justice is blind because she doesn't look at who someone is, a position someone holds, or place in society, or color of skin, or gender, or education level, or whatever it might be. It doesn't judge people by that. It judges truth, capital T truth, for truth, not small t truth opinions. So you really had a lot of that. And then you have the Seven of Cups. Cups are the emotions. This does represent some confusion that you had around your emotions about choices, emotional choices to make. It's like, you had all these that you could choose from, all these emotions that you have on the inside, and maybe you experienced them all. Maybe you took them one by one and said, okay, I'm going to feel this way. And okay, that doesn't resonate with him. I'm going to feel a different way. And you really went through a lot of, I would say it's a roller coaster. I want to say that it's almost like an emotional taste test, like, a wine tasting, how they'll go and you have little bits and pieces of each of the wine. This is like you went through and had little bits and pieces of each of these different emotions just to understand and get to the bottom of things, to, like I said, to cut through the bull. You really, it's almost like you intuitively or empathically stepped into different people's shoes to try to see things from different points of view, if that makes sense. So you really just went through this whole emotional taste test, and to get to the bottom of the truths that you experienced over this last year. So a lot of awareness, a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom gained over this last year, which brings us into this coming year. Yeah, and you have the Nine of Swords. Swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets. And you are, this is the air energy. And so this, you're an air sign. And so this also has to do with this is where you live and you've been living and breathing. This is, the world in which you move and go, which is, interesting that when you add up the 11/11/2021, it equals 9. This was 8, this was 9, and this is 10, and this is the Nine of Swords, which the Nine of Swords is called the nightmare card or insomnia card. It's because of all these expectations and all these thoughts that you have on your mind that keep you awake at night. But for me, I really feel for this reading, because this is what happens right before you move on to the Ten of Swords, which is when you are ready to release those thoughts and those beliefs and all that no longer serve you. And this 9 is preparing you for that, right? Because this is all about what's finishing up. What are you getting rid of? What are you preparing to end? And for you, this is all those thoughts and those beliefs that would bring you anxiety, that would bring you sleepless nights, maybe even nightmares. It is a general reading, so maybe you did have some nightmares. But I really feel for mostly it's anxiety and, that angst type of feel where you're just like, oh, dread. And so this is about really looking into all that, you found these truths, you experienced these emotions, and now you're bringing it and applying it during this year. You're fine-tuning those thoughts and those beliefs that you had that were before this previous year, where you were just like, it's like chaos almost. But, this learning that you did this last year has been amazing, is what I'm hearing. You're going to apply it and finish things up over this next year, which brings you into your endings and beginnings, which you've got the Queen of Wands here. Wands are your drive, your ambition, your aha inspiration, your spiritual energy. And she exudes this beautiful, confident energy. They do have, the salamanders or lizards on this one, which usually the Queen doesn't have. She usually has a black cat on the card. The Page, the Knight, and the King do have the salamander, which is all about protection from risk and protection from being burned, by that fiery heat of the wands when they're, trying to put things into action and trying to take risks, and, you get inspired and you move. Well, the black cat for the Queen of Wands is about her intuition, her gut feeling. It's her familiar. And queens all have water energy because they're the divine feminine, which means she's able to connect to her gut and to her intuition. And so she doesn't need that protection like the others do, because in her gut, she knows she's doing the right thing. So she doesn't feel like she's taking a risk. So she doesn't need protection because she has that extra knowledge that she's getting from above. So I really love that this Ace of Swords, which brings the capital T Taurus from the other side in, right? Really takes fire in this year from 2022, November 11th of 2022 to November 11th of 2023, that all this journey is culminating in you being able to really zero in. Because she also is in addition to being very confident, she can really super laser focus her energy and get stuff done, make change, make movement. And, she enters a room and people know it. They can just feel the beautiful energy that she brings. Yeah. And the 10 of Wands. So again, the 10 of Wands in this one usually can mean that you're taking on the burden of too many things. And so, all this is being leveled on your back. 10, this was the 10. This is endings and new beginnings, right? 8, 9, and 10. So this is telling you that you're letting the energies go that felt like it was going into a black hole. So, all these swords in your mind here, these are all things, all expectations that you feel you have to invest energy in order to be lovable, in order to be acceptable, right? All those expectations. And so you invest energy into it, and it just goes nowhere because the external world does not fulfill us. We find our fulfillment when we turn within, when we turn to our higher self, the creator and spirit, right? That's the energy that makes us feel whole and complete. And all this energy here is all this energy that's returning to you that you were investing in trying to control all these things outside of you, whether it was people, trying to make people do what you think they should do, because obviously you know what's best for their life, or trying to control a situation like work, a job, education, something like that, or trying to control things in your life like your finances and car and home and your physical body. All that you've been trying to do, all that energy comes back to you, and you just feel this amazing power, which I love it, because that Queen of Wands is going to zero it in. And then you've got the 3 of Coins, which is the 3 of Pentacles in a lot of other decks. This is the outside world, and this represents that you get to express this inspiration. You get to make progress. A message that came from Spirit for me for this deck, I know it may not be the traditional way that this is read, but in this one deck that I have, it shows someone doing this task, doing their mastery, expressing their creativity to the world, and there's someone that's facing them, and there's someone behind their back. And what Spirit was telling me is that this card allows you to see that you are the one, not necessarily that you're the one, but to consider choosing how you want to express the world without taking everyone's influence. Because they have the person standing behind their back, which is the person that will, meh, you're not doing it right, blah, 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 blah. And they're the dream, bubble bursters behind the back. And we already know them. They're very obvious, and we tend to not give them so much power in our lives. But the other person, the person that is supporting our dream and going, you're doing such a great job, I'm right behind you, and, da-da-da-da-da-da, they can sometimes have more influence over us than this other person, that naysayer, right? Because this person might be going, I'm so proud of you, you're doing so good, keep up the good work. Have you ever thought of doing it maybe this way? And because we don't want to face these naysayers, and we're like, we appreciate, and our ego strives to get that external validation, sometimes we will bend what we want to do because we don't want to take the chance at losing that positive support, and so we leave our path a little bit, and we're not true to ourselves, and so this beautiful card here is telling you, stay true to yourself. Don't listen to the negative, don't listen to the positive, listen to your heart, listen to your higher self, your intuition. And the last thing, I'm going to pull a card here from the Divine Guidance deck, and this is just going to be what the Creator wants you to know about this 3-year adventure, from learning to finalizing things to this endings and new beginnings, just what they want you to know about this little mini adventure within your big adventure. All right, Creator, so for our Libras, what would you like them to know about this 3-year period of time for these portals? Okay, they want that one right there. You got card number 37. So another 10. Ending and new beginning. So really, a lot of this was about the, this is all necessary to make this ending and new beginning to go into this next phase, which this is called blossoming. So even simply questioning your life or trying to figure out where and how to move forward moves your energy and aids in opening to your higher awareness and divine purpose. Continue with this. Don't let your human mind, with its limited point of view, tell you that you're stuck or not progressing. It isn't true. You are opening. You are flowing. Your soul is blossoming. Keep your faith in both yourself and spirit. Know that you are on the perfect path and that you're opening to your highest potential, one step at a time. Beautiful. Yeah. So definitely this is all about this. And almost feel like when I saw blossoming, I saw this little like acorn, right? It's planted. Then it gets cracked open and grows, and then it becomes this huge, when the seed ends, the tree begins. And I kind of feel like this whole process is for you. This understanding, these truths that are coming in, and getting rid of those thoughts that are holding you back. Just open this floodgate to help you just become this beautiful, blossom that just opens up. So I am loving this for you here. All right, I think that is everything. I'm going to leave the reading there, and I'm going to move on to the next sign. So enjoy this 1111 portal energy that's coming in. I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon. Until then, you take care. All right, all my Scorpios, this is your 1111 portal reading, and we're going to start off with pulling cards here from this Tarot of Dreams. And I'm going to pull cards for each of those periods of time I mentioned in the intro, which the first is from 2020, like November 11th of 2020 to November 11th of 2021. That's going to be what the Creator wants you to know about what you learned over this last year. So let's take a look and see, what does the Creator want you to know about what you learned? Nope, none of those. Maybe you learned patience. All right, there we go. So it's that one, actually, and that one too. And then we move into this coming year from November 11th of 2021 to 2022. And that's going to be what is finishing up. You know, you learned something and what is going to be finishing up because of what you learned. Okay, actually, it's this one right here. And that moves us into the 2022 to 2023, which is the endings and beginnings. So because of all this, what are you going to be ending? What does the creator want you to know about what's ending and beginning? Anything else? Nope, just those. All right, so let's see what you learned over this last year. Yeah, Queen of Wands. Wands is your drive, your ambition, your like aha inspiration, your spiritual energy. And the Queen of Wands exudes a lot of confidence, and she has this laser point focus that she can bring in with your energy. And so over this last year, it's like you've learned to where you were investing your energy that was, you know, kind of like a black hole, and it wasn't bringing you the results that you were wanting, and you were able to change things, move things around in your life as far as your intentions and where you were investing yourself and your energy into. She also, the queens bring in this, they all have water energy. So she brings in this emotional awareness and this instinct, this intuition, this gut feeling into things. So you really were connecting to that side of yourself and determining where you were going to be focusing that energy. Usually, like in this one, she has lizards on her little headdress there, but she usually doesn't have the lizards. She has a black cat. The, you know, Page and Knight and King have the lizard, the salamander, because it protects them from the heat of the energy, protects them from the risk that they may be taking. But because she's so in tune with her intuition, because of that black cat on her card, normally that means that she doesn't really feel like she's taking a risk, and she's not in danger because she's, you know, so connected to the eye in the sky, to that intuition, that she has information that the others don't. And so she's really not taking a risk. That's why she's so confident about the steps she's taking, because she's really learned to trust her gut and her intuition. Yeah, and then you have another queen. So you have the Queen of Swords, which is your mind. So that's your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, your attitudes, your expectations. And she yields this Ace of Swords, which allows, it brings her capital T truth, so higher truths from the heavenly realm, which the Queen of Wands would help also bring in. But it allows her to cut away those thoughts and those beliefs, expectations, those things that no longer serve her. She also keeps an open mind to new things as she's cutting away those old things. She usually she'll have like a hand extended, which means she'll allow you know, other new thoughts and new beliefs to come in. So she also learns that making decisions purely by logic usually doesn't end up for our best interest for our lives. She also has learned to balance both mind and heart, mind and emotion, which of course this Queen of Wands also brings in. So there's this beautiful awareness that you learned about balancing your thoughts and your emotions, trusting your gut over your mind sometimes, but this beautiful, it's like fire and water, right? It's this beautiful joining together of the two, the best of both worlds combining just to make you super aware, super balanced, and you know, and then of course here's the Libra symbol here, but it wasn't always like that. Of course, toward the end is when you've really learned the balance, because you kind of went fire, fire, water, water, fire, water, fire, water, fire, water. I created fire, water, you know. As you're coming into this next year, all this beautiful wisdom that, yeah, I'm hearing, learn the hard way. It was not, you know, this super easy task that you went through. You know, you're Scorpio. You have major water energy. You feel, you know, emotions very strongly because you're a water sign. And then also you're, you know, like the queen of transformation too. So you strive to transform and like reinvent yourself and transform from a scorpion to a snake to an eagle to the phoenix. So you very much have this drive to transform and to not stay stagnant. So I would almost say you enjoyed it. And then what this next year, you've got the 9 of Cups. So Cups, again, emotions. 9, and this is the 9 position. You know, when I talked about in the intro, when you add 11, 11, 20, 20 together, that equals 8. 11, 11, 20, 21 equals a 9, which is 9 here. And then this equals a 10 for that third year. So this is totally fitting that over this next year, you're learning about feeling fulfilled in your emotions from the inside. The 9 shows them alone. You know, the 10 of Cups is about that emotion is flowing out into the world and interacting with the world and all that. But the 9 is about your feeling, your emotions, you're self-contained and self-fulfilled and feeling whole and complete alone. You didn't need anything from the outside world to do this. And what you learned during this last year is what is helping you this next year. Just feel independently happy, independently whole and complete, regardless of what happens on the outside because of what you learned here. So it's a beautiful year coming up. You definitely have the ability to apply everything that you learned to make you, you know, celebrate. Cheers, right? And that brings us into what the Creator wants you to know about this ending and new beginning from November 11/11 of 2022 to 2023. And you got the 7 of Coins. And so this is like also called the 7 of Pentacles in a lot of decks. But so you can see here, she's waiting for the fruit to grow, her basket. She's like, dun, 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 any time now. So she's learning patience, waiting for the external fruit to take hold, which is pretty cool because, you know, when you're looking at, you've done all this internal work and you're feeling internally, you know, fulfilled and whole and complete. The year after that, you're able to patiently watch fruit grow on the outside because it does take time for life change because change happens from the inside out. And this is all the inside, right? And it's making its way to the out. So you will see things start to unfold and fruit start to grow. It's not ripened yet. And probably will be the year after. But you're going to be seeing the fruit growing in the tree. I was going to say that, but you're not going to care. You feel whole and complete on the inside. You're totally okay. You know, you're holding on to your little puppy dog and enjoying the beautiful weather and watching the world as things unfold, and you're okay with it. I really feel, you know, it's not this, come on, grow fruit, like sometimes I get with this for other readings. For this, it's just like you're calm about it and you're okay. You're like, I know. That outside takes time. The inside is where I'm feeling and living my life anyway. The outside, I just get to see this inner changes and this inner stuff that's going on. You get to see it being reflected in the outside world. So that's beautiful. And then lastly, I'm going to pull a card here from the Divine Guidance. And this is just going to show you what the Creator wants you to know about this 3-year journey. Like why, what's the purpose of this, or just what they want you to know about, you know, you learned, you applied, and now things are going to end and begin and change. What they want you to know about this kind of mini adventure within your big adventure over the last year and the coming 2 years. So Creator, for our Scorpios, what do you want them to know? You actually get 2. And the first one, you got card number 31. Beautiful colors there. Put that right here. And you also got card number 7. Love, love, love. I love that. Beautiful big heart. That's 7. 7 and 7. All right, so card 31. Let's see what energy this brings. Yeah, this is awakening. This is a powerful card. You're now entering into a complete awakening to your higher self, your intuition, your gifts, your role on the planet, and the divine plan. The opening of your heart center is allowing your inner vision to see more clearly. In turn, this is empowering you on many levels, both energetically and intuitively, to walk your path and do what you've come here to do. Your awakening will subconsciously call out to others to step in to their own light as well. I love it. And then number 7, this is heart mind, right? Learning to operate from the heart is one of the single most important things we can do. It is now time to activate your heart chakra to its fullest potential. Spirit is asking that you take time to sit within the energy of your heart. Learn to breathe through your heart while you meditate by focusing your breath in your heart. Feel the loving energy you inhale and allow it to fill you. Let each exhale also be love-filled, and feel this love filling the space around you. Through this daily exercise, you become one with your heart mind, operating fully from a place of love. Wow. Yeah, both of these had to do with that same subject, so I love how those came out together, even though they're totally on opposite sides of the deck. Definitely. So all this is about learning to move from your heart. Cups, this is your emotions. So it's about allowing you to fill up with that love, unconditional love, and then it overflows out to the world. And that's why it takes time for that to show up, because you're filling up with all that love on the inside. And once you're feeling whole and full and complete with this 9 of Cups, then the love continues to flow, and it just flows out to other people. So whereas before you might have given to people, shared your heart and your emotions with other people because out of fear and out of disappointing people and not living up to expectations, that was bitter water that was flowing. This is a sweet nectar, and just a little drop of that is so delicious and sweet compared to the bitter water that people were used to receiving from you. And no judgment, no shame. That's every human being when we're giving out of expectations and fear, which everyone is until you hit enlightenment and awareness of this higher self that you are and connect to the heavenly realms. Everyone's doing it. But when you have a taste of the true love, through that fills up your chalice, the Holy Grail, and overflows out. Delicious, delicious. Mwah. All right. Well, I love this for you. A beautiful journey. And that's been the whole purpose of this journey, is to open up to this love and let it fill up and overflow to the world. So I'm excited for these couple years that are going to be unfolding for you here. And I'm going to leave the reading there. I'm going to move on to the next sign. So I hope you enjoy this November 11th portal energy, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. But until then, you take care. All right, my Sagittarians, this is your 11/11 portal reading, and we're going to start off by pulling a card here from the Tarot of the Dreams deck, and we're going to pull cards for each of those different periods of time that I talked about in the introduction. The first being from November 11th of 2020 to 2021, and that's like what you learned during this last year. So Creator, what do you want our Sagittarians to know about what they learned? So those are those. And then we move into this coming year, 2021 to 2022, which is like, what are you finishing up on? You know, you've learned some stuff here. And what are you finishing up to move into this next year, following year after that, which is 2022 to 2023, with endings and new beginnings. So what does the Creator want you to know about what's ending and what's beginning for you? Okay. So we will start with these, and you have the 4 of Cups. So the Cups are your emotions, and so this last year, you really have learned about what has not been fulfilling for you. You know, you have these 3 cups down here. So you had this, you know, stuff that came into your life that was supposed to make you feel whole and complete, and make you feel good and feel like, you know, you're making progress and that you are lovable and blah, 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 yada, 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 right? But it left you feeling disappointed, it left you feeling empty still. What's beautiful is that you have this Ace of Cups here that comes in. You know, you have the 3 down here that disappointed, but here's the gift from the Creator. Here's the gift from the universe, from Spirit. It's the Holy Grail. It's full of the unconditional love and living waters of the spirit realm. So it is like this gift that's given to you of awareness around your emotions and about what you feel and what you want in life, what your drive is. You know, it's like this beautiful awareness. You know, at first disappointment is like, oh, that doesn't feel good, but in not being fulfilled in things, you understand more fully what you really want to search for, what you really want to go after, right? Yeah, yeah, because here you go. 10 of Cups, total fulfillment, total completeness. You've filled up on the inside and it's overflowing out of you. So you really were able to see over this last year just this emotional overflow. So I feel, you know, it's a general reading, but I feel like a large portion of you, because you realized what wasn't making you happy, you made change. You made it happen. You know, Sagittarians, your fire energy, you're ready to make movement and ready to put things into action. So you're like, you know what? That didn't work. I'm going here. And you're like, bam! It's like you found something that really did make you feel whole and complete and just overflow with beautiful, loving emotions. So it's a wonderful lesson that is learned. And, you know, one, that you took the risk to give up the stuff that you're supposed to want in search of this new offer of emotion. And so you had that over this last year. And then that brings you into this coming year. Yep, and you have the 4 of Swords. So you had the 4 of Cups, and you have the 4 of Swords. So you have the 3 of Swords here. A lot like these 3 of Cups, these 3 of Swords represent our expectations. Normally the 3 of Swords you'll see like with a huge heart and 3 swords stuck in it, because it's our expectations, our beliefs, our mindsets, our attitudes, and all the beliefs around what life should be that bring us that piercing in our heart, that feeling of pain in our life where we feel like we can be heartbroken. But you're sleeping on this Ace of Swords here, which the Ace of Swords is the bringer of truth. It's the capital T truths, not the expectations and the small t truths and opinions of the world, but of the heavenly capital T truths, the ethereal capital T truths, the truths that don't need defending. Opinions need defending because they are generally not true of, compared to the capital T truths of, the creator of spirit, right? And it's beautiful because that Ace of Swords, in addition to bringing you truths, that allows you to cut away those small t truths that no longer serve you. They served for a purpose to allow you to feel this disappointment, to allow you to understand what it is truly that brings you life and love in your life. And so where this was the emotional side, here you're getting into the beliefs that were underneath these 3 of Cups. And they're very restful. It allows you to have peace of mind because those emotions are allowing you to identify and get to the root of the beliefs here. I love, I keep forgetting her last name, but her name's Dr. Jill. And she has a book called Whole Brain Living. And I love it because she says we are not thinking beings who feel, we're feeling beings who think. So you feel first and then we think. So I love this because, you are working through the emotions here and understanding that. And then this next year, you're applying it to the mind and doing that next step and finishing up that process, which brings you in to your next year with the endings and beginnings. Yeah, Total sense. Perfect. Emperor, again, a 4. 4, 4, and 4. The Emperor has two sides to him. The loving Emperor, which is where you're returning to, the loving Emperor actually, it's like they have thousands and thousands of people living together in, like in this giant city, right? And for everyone to come together and not kill each other in a variety of different ways, he comes up with loving rules about, how we can get along with each other and thrive as a community instead of being, at one of each other's throats and everything, right? Well, the other side of the Emperor is where these expectations come in, where the ego side of us, the one that needs to feel safe, that needs to feel in control, that needs to feel in power, takes over. So where a loving Emperor is, all about not what they can get, but how they can help bring everyone together and benefit everyone. The Emperor that gets influenced by the fear ego becomes a dictator. Here's all the rules. I need to maintain power. I need to get more power. In fact, I need to take your power. And that's what comes in with all these expectations. And it's the shadowy side of our emotions, our mind, and everything else. So I love that this is like the return of the loving king, the return of the loving Emperor is what I feel, comes because of what you've learned, how you've applied it, and then you're able to not feel like you have to control everything in the outside world, and it doesn't come from a place of fear anymore. You feel safe and you feel whole and complete, sleeping so calm, peace of mind, peace of heart, that you're able just to lovingly share information, lovingly share knowledge, lovingly share love without the intentions of power, nothing based in fear, but based in unconditional love. And you become this bright, loving Emperor that just shines in people's lives because they're just like, wow, they're just blown away by it. And then lastly, I'm going to pull a card here from the Divine Guidance deck. And this is just going to represent what the Creator wants you to know about this little mini adventure within your big adventure of your life. Like why, what's the purpose of this process? Or why? Or just what the Creator wants you to know. So for the last year and the coming 2 years, Creator, what did you want them to know about this little mini adventure? Okay, there we go. You got number 18. There we go. Just gonna put that right here. Kind of almost looks like a little, like that Emperor, right? See the little headdress, the face, the ears. Sometimes I call these the spiritual inkblot test. It's like, what do you see? And this is Wisdom Guide. So the Wisdom Guide is here to help you with taking in new information and teachings. Whether you're taking courses, going back to school, or learning a new skill or craft, you'll find that you're able to process and retain new information more easily. The Wisdom Guide also helps you to gain new insights and understandings through the intuitive channels, turning your knowledge into wisdom. Yep. So this is definitely about transforming and understanding this beautiful wisdom that you're able to share with the world after having gone through these things here. You get to lead by example, not necessarily, in a leadership, like supervisory manager type position, but you can lead just by how you live your life. And I really feel, again, this brightness, like you're this, a light on a hill that cannot be hidden because of everything that you learned and gleaned and going through here. And you're able to help so many people, leading them on that path for themselves as well. So I love that for you. So that's the purpose, was for you to be able to glean this wisdom for yourself, first of all, but also to share it. So beautiful. Love, love, love this for you. All right, well, I'm going to leave the reading there and move on to the next sign. So I hope you enjoy this 11/11 portal energy, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. But until then, you take care. All right, my Capricorns, this is your 11/11 portal reading, and we're going to start off by pulling some cards here from these Tarot of Dreams. Maybe, if I can shuffle. And I'm going to pull cards for each of those 3 periods I talked about in the introduction, which the first is from 2020, like November 11th of 2020 up till November 11th of 2021. And that's going to represent like what you learned over this last year, what the creator wants you to learn or know about what you learned over this last year. Okay, so those 2 there. And then this year, for November 11th of 2021 till the same time in 2022, this is about what is finishing up. You learned, what are you finishing up to move us into that following year of endings and new beginnings. So, Creator, what do you want them to know about what's finishing up? Okay, 2 there. And then what do you want them to know? Our beautiful Cappies. Okay. Anything else? Nope. So this is, we'll just turn that over to not distract me. That'll be what's ending and beginning. So let's see, what did you learn over this last year? 10 of Coins, 10 of Pentacles. So this is all about abundance. You learned about what abundance means for you. You know, you felt probably at times like a lot of fear around whether you're going to have enough or not. But obviously you made it through this year or you wouldn't be watching this video right now. So you realize that you've had enough. Always have enough for this moment. And that you don't have to worry about all the future moments, because the future moments will take care of themselves. And you've 100% made it through all of your past experiences. So that's a pretty good record, right? And then you have, beautiful, you have the Empress, the 3. She's also about abundance, Mother Nature, Mother Nurture. See all the bounty, fruitfulness. She's usually pregnant, which means, you know, birthing and being fruitful as well. She, of course, has the divine feminine energy. So a lot of connection to Mother Nature, Mother Nurture. And so I really feel over this last year, you also realized what it means to take care of you, to self-nurture, to feel whole and complete, not to invest so much of your health and energy into everything on the outside world. And you really understood that with this here. And then let's see what this next year is bringing here for you. Yeah, we got the King of Wands. Wands is your drive, your ambition, your spark, your aha inspiration, also your spiritual energy. So the King of Wands has a lot of fire, of course, energy to make things happen. He's very much a leader. But for me also, because of the spiritual tone of it all, the king being at the highest place in the suit of spiritual energy, this really represents your higher self for me. So for this coming year, because of what you learned here about self-nurturing, taking care of yourself, again, it's like there's a lot of small self-awareness and taking care of, but you moved into a capital S self-awareness, taking care of, and that is when you're going to apply this to really spark your spiritual awareness of your spiritual self, your higher self. I'm not talking about religion, religious self. I'm talking about your true essence, your higher self, outside of man's influence. It's like you're really understanding who you really are because of that. Yep. And then you've got the 8 of Wands, so more Wands energy. And the 8 of Wands is about movement, fast movement. But for me, it's also about messages coming in. You can see all the birds here. So all these winged creatures are bringing messages. And I love that, because connecting to yourself, you're also raising your vibration from one before of a lot of fear noise in our life. In order to hear from the other side, we do raise our vibration by focusing on unconditional love, our true self that we are. We're beings of unconditional love and joy and peace and laughter, and that's the frequency at which the higher realm speaks and communicates at. And so during this next year, this is a message for an entire year, you're really connecting to that higher realm and getting messages like crazy, which that can be, from the outside world, where you see like license plates or hear songs, or we hear, hear someone talking, something in social media, an email, even a junk mail title will, really align with something that is like confirmation of all these messages. The signs and synchronicities everywhere. You'll also be getting emotional messages where you'll feel emotion and just know that means something for you. Also, your brain and your mind, you'll have out of the blue, you'll get like, you're not even thinking about someone at all, and all of a sudden this memory will pop in of this person that's passed, right? And that is them touching your brain, letting them know that you're there, that they are there with you. Just messages from all over the place is what I'm getting from this. So buckle up, Buttercup. You're about to just get a beautiful barrage of beautiful synchronicities and messages and confirmations over this entire next year, starting with the November 11th portal this year. And then that brings you into 2022 to 2023 with endings and new beginnings. And the creator wanted you to know, so Queen of Coins. So again, queens have water energy. In addition to this being coins and pentacles being earth energy, she also has water energy, and she's actually reminds me of the Empress. So you can even see the similarity between them here. So this is definitely that divine feminine energy, being bountiful and understanding your worth from the inside, because that's what that water energy brings in for her, is that she connects to the higher realms. She understands, having experienced life, being almost at the end of the deck of the suit of coins, that she's been through it, right? She understands that when she was looking for her worth outside of herself, it was disappointing. Like this 10 of coins, she's like this combination of these two. It's like, here's the culmination. You've really absorbed the information, you've transformed the information, you've integrated this into yourself. So it's like these were two different things that you learned, and when they integrated, this is what you've become. So you have this beautiful understanding of your worth from the inside out, but the outside of you is still abundant because of how you are perceiving things and how you're seeing things from the inside out. Of course, having a year of messages and listening, shutting up and listening, that's what they always tell me. It's like, when I get worried about something, like, if you just shut up and listen, we'll tell you everything you need to know. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. And so that's what I'm really hearing this for you too, is taking this year of really listening, connecting to the higher realms. It's just going to help you integrate everything that you learned over this last year. And this is going to be just a huge, fruitful, amazing, abundant year for you afterwards. So I love that. I'm also going to pull a card here from the Divine Guidance deck here. This is just going to be what the creator wants you to know about this little 3-year mini adventure that you're having amongst your huge life adventure. And just what they want you to know about it. Maybe why is this happening? Or just whatever. We'll take whatever information we can get, right? Okay, so for our Capricorns, Creator, what do you want them to know about this 3-year period of time? Okay, it's this one right here. Yep, card 44, a master or power number. I love that. We're going to put that right here. It's the very end for endings and new beginnings. Divine guidance. It says, beautiful soul, you play a very important role in the awakening of the planet. Your light is so needed here. You are always wrapped in the loving embrace of the divine. It is in those times when your tears may fall or when you feel most alone that your angels and guides are with you the most, right? Sharing their light and love on you. Not for one moment should you doubt this. You, special soul, are being lovingly guided and supported on your path. Divine guidance is leading you gently. Look for the signs, feel the love, and know that you are supported always. Yep, so that's the purpose of this little 3-year period for you, is to understand that you are taken care of, you're never alone, you're divinely guided. Seek that, and you'll feel that abundance, and you'll be able to walk with that combination. And, you know, this is definitely like these 4 things merged, and she's even looking back at it all. But you are definitely divinely guided, and abundance is following you like crazy. It could be financial, but true inner abundance, you know, we could have all the things in the world outside of us, but if we don't have this connection and feel whole inside, it's worthless to us, right? So I love this for you. All right, well, I'm going to leave this reading here and move on to the next sign. I hope you enjoy this 1111 portal energy, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. But until then, you take care. Okay, all my Aquas, this is your 1111 portal reading. And we are going to start off by pulling some cards here from this Tarot of Dreams. And we're going to pull cards for each of those 3 periods that I mentioned in the intro. The first being from November 11th of 2020 up to 2021. So this will be for what you learned over this last year. So Creator, what did you want our Aquas to know about what they learned? Okay. So we'll put that one there. And then that moves us into this next year from November 11th of this year to November 11th of next year. And this is about what is finishing up. You know, we've learned this, what is finishing up to move us into this endings and new beginnings of the following year. So Creator, what is finishing up for Aquarians this coming year? So you got this one and this one. That leads us to this ending and new beginning. So what do you want us to know about the ending and new beginning that's happening after that? Okay, and that's those 2. So first of all, what you learned is the 2 of Cups. These are emotions. And for me, this is the realization of that there's 2 of us that live inside of us, that experience this life together. We have our human side that's walking upon the earth, and then we have, which is the character we're playing, but we have the actor behind the character, that powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love. And this is the joining together of those 2. So over this last year, you became aware that you're more than just this human body, that there's so much more to you than that, and that you didn't really, you know, you've overcome this need, you know, that we kind of get influenced by, you know, when we become spiritual, we're told, kill the ego, kill the shadow. Instead, we realize, and you know, over this last year, you realize that that shadow is a piece of who you are. It's a small piece of the big, powerful us, but it is a piece of us. And so instead of battling it, we join together, and we, you know, our shadow side is hungry for love, unconditional love, and our unconditionally loving self gives it to it, and it's like, oh, okay. And then you walk together in this new way of living. So this awareness that comes that you're so much more than this little small, piece on a board game. You are the one that behind that piece, that little, I had a flash of the little doggy in Monopoly. I always liked to be the little doggy. So it's a little, behind that little metal piece that you move across the board is the real you, right? That huge, powerful, supernatural you. And I love that. So big awareness coming in to this next year. And let's see what comes in with that. Yep, so you've got the Three of Coins, which is like the Three of Pentacles. And so in discovering that, the message that I get from this one, the Three of Coins, is, they're creating this beautiful work of art and expressing themselves out into the physical world. So they're, doing this, creating this thing, whatever it might be, whether it's a business or a family or a relationship or your education, whatever you're doing, you're expressing your desire in your heart, how you want to express unconditional love to the world. It doesn't look like it in this deck, but there's another deck that I have where this message comes through here for me, which shows someone standing there creating something, someone standing in front of them, someone standing in back of them. The person in back of them, Spirit, is saying that, oh, they're the naysayers, they're the dream stompers. They're the ones that go, oh, you won't be able to do that. Why are you doing that? You're not going to be successful at that. That's not going to bring you any money. You're not going to be able to make a living. This blah, 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 right? They're trying to poke your bubble and burst it. Those we're aware of, and they're very obvious, and we understand their influence. We try to keep the naysayers at bay. But the one in front of us, the one that's giving us praise and support, going, you're doing such a great job and keep going, and I love what you're sharing with the world, and blah, 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 blah. We love that our ego loves that support because of the naysayers. We're like, we don't want that. This we grasp onto. Well, this person can be even more influential in us than the naysayers, right? Because we don't want to lose that praise that they're giving us. They might go, yeah, you're doing really good. I really love what that. Have you ever thought of just maybe doing this a little bit? And we might veer off course of our, true intention, our expressing our true authentic self, because we don't want to lose their praise. So we start going off course because we're drawn by them. And so this card is telling you, with what you learned about connecting to your higher self and being true to your purpose, this is about this year putting it into practice and going, you know what? I'll listen to what people say, but if it doesn't fit in with my true north, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I know from spirit and from my higher self and my soul, what I want to do. And if other people are like, well, or hey, maybe do this, I'll listen to see if that resonates. And if it doesn't, I just let them share. And I appreciate people sharing, because sometimes they have great ideas that maybe I'm so being stubborn that I don't hear from the other people, right? I mean, from spirit, because I'm like in fear or distracted, and then they go, well, he's not listening to us here, let me just bring the message around this way, and then that shakes me and go, oh, that's right, thank you. So beautiful message here about this coming year for you. And 3 is definitely creativity. Yeah. And then you have the devil, which is the shadow. Don't forget about this, because this is about being released from this cage. The shadow, like I mentioned before about this, about we don't have to destroy our shadow. Our shadow is our friend. It is going to bring us messages. It's going to show us what is making us feel caged, what is making us feel restricted, what's making us feel limited and impeding our forward progress. And it does it in not so subtle ways, which is great, because I love clear in my face messages when it comes to, forward progress and just expanding and experiencing in life, right? So the example I give is like earlier this year, in a matter of a week, I had someone that contacted me, a friend of mine, to let me know that they had lost their husband. Another person had lost someone close to them for a different reason than the other person had passed. My mom's neighbor had passed away. Another friend of mine, someone very close to them, tried to end their lives, and another friend had a mentor of theirs that passed away. And so no matter of all this time, it's like bam, 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 and I'm like, okay, I get it. You're trying to tell me something? Yeah, and that's the kind of in my face, in your face, obvious, not so subtle messages will be coming this next year, but it's happening for you to help you be released from these cages. Because I love how some tarot decks will show the devil card here, and it'll show people that have chains around their neck, but they're very loosely on there. They can actually lift them up over their head. And even in one, those chains are in the devil's hands, and they're just laying across it. Like he doesn't have this tight grip. They could just walk away and it would slip right out. And it's showing that the perceived limitations and restrictions, the perceived, caged door here. The door is open. There's nothing keeping us in there. You can just walk out. And he's wearing a jester cap. I don't know if you can see that. Which in this deck is the soul. It's the Fool card. That's our soul. And nothing can cage our soul. We are powerful, limitless, endless resources, endless creativity. And so this is very much about understanding over this next year what beliefs, what self-beliefs are we restricting ourselves with that are keeping us from being our authentic self and creating what we want to see in the world. So I love that. With what we learned here, we're fine-tuning it and doing all that to come here to this ending and this new beginning that will happen November 11th of 2022 to November 11th of 2023. Yep, Ace of Swords. Beautiful. Swords are our thoughts, our beliefs, our mindsets. Aquarians, your air signs. So you're all in our, I'm a sun Aquarian, so I understand. In my mind, in my brain, has always been the challenge. And this is the Ace of Swords, which brings us the capital T truths. It helps us get out of this cage of small t truths and recognize who we really are. So it brings us that truth, but it also empowers us to cut away those thoughts and those beliefs and those emotions and everything that no longer serves us. We get to use that, and it's empowered to cut those things away, and it brings in this new thoughts, these new beliefs that are more in alignment to our higher self and for what we want to accomplish and for our authenticity. Yeah, and here's the Five of Swords. And I love this one because he's actually yielding the Ace of Swords here. And the Five of Swords, I love that these came out together because the Five of Swords is about change. The fives generally are. And this is the changing of the mind and, was it worth it? To get the things that we thought we wanted, in the past. It's kind of like this: when you did what you always did, you get what you always got, and what you got was not fulfilling, and it wasn't whole and complete. Sometimes they'll have some swords laying on the ground because there was this skirmish, and the other people are walking away and they're hurt because it's kind of like that. We fought the battle, but we lost the war. We may have won that argument, but we lost the relationship. And so it's this awareness that comes from the understanding of our thoughts and beliefs of the past. That what did our thoughts and beliefs from the past, the small t truths, what did it get us? It bought us a nice little cage of swords. But this is the freeing of it, and this is that freedom that comes with it. In fact, it even looks like that Braveheart movie, right? Freedom! And here's your Aquarius symbol too. So this definitely has Aquarian energy applied to it. So I love it. This is definitely a freedom of mind, of thought, and belief that allows you to create and authentically be you. And then I'm going to pull a card here from the Divine Guidance book here, and we're just going to see what the Creator wants you to know about this little 3-year mini adventure within your whole life, big adventure. Just what was the purpose of this, or just what information they want you to know about this 3-year period. So for our Aquas, Creator, okay. You got card number 16. Just put that right here. And it says, keep yourself focused on the outcome, the goal, or the result that you are aiming at for right now. This card has come to you because you may be faltering or questioning yourself. Just let go of your doubts and your fears. Your life and your goals are right on target. Keep your intentions clear, stay grounded in your heart, and follow what intuitive nudging you may feel. Spirit is working with you on an energetic level to help you bring your dreams to fruition. I love that. That really goes in with this being authentic and really understanding, getting rid of the expectations of the should and the need to, the have to, the blah, 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 really connecting to this higher place, understanding what it is, how you want to share the unconditional love that's in your heart with the world and do it authentically, right? So that's the purpose of this 3-year period here of really connecting to your higher self and understanding you're more than this human side. All this information coming in about what's pulling you away from being your authentic self and expressing yourself authentically, and then bringing in this power, this beautiful power of being able to let those thoughts and those beliefs that have been limiting you to go and have that freedom to really reflect and show that. But you're right on target, and I love that. So you are supported. Beautiful. I love this, especially because I'm also, like I said, a Aquarian sun. So this is definitely fitting for my life. I am going to leave the reading here. And I hope you enjoy this 1111 portal energy that's coming in. And until then, until next time, I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon. But you take care, hang in there, and I am going to move on to Pisces. All right, all my Pisces, this is your reading for the 1111 portal. And I'm going to start off by pulling cards here from this Tarot of Dreams. And I'm just going to pull cards for each of the 3 periods that I mentioned in the intro. The first being, of course, from November 11th of 2020 to November 11th of 2021. And that's going to represent what the Creator wants you to know about what you learned over this last year. You know, it was adds up to a number 8, which is about a time of learning and growing and gleaning knowledge. So we're going to see, Creator, what do you want our Pisces to know about? What did they learn over this last year? Okay, so we got these 2. And then we move into this year coming up, November 21st of this year till November 11th of this year till November 11th of next year. That's going to be what, now that you've learned this, what is being kind of like finished up and finalized during this next year. So Creator, what do you want our Pisces to know about what's being finalized? Anything else for that? Nope. And then that leads us into the next year after that, which is November 11th of 2022 to 2023. And that's the endings and new beginnings because of what we've done here. So Creator, what do you want our Pisces to know about their ending and new beginning? Okay, it's these 2 right here. All right, let's see. What did you learn, Pisces? 2 of Swords. I love this because swords are our thoughts, our beliefs, our mindsets, our attitudes, our expectations. And it's about how we make decisions and what goes through our mind with those. And I love it because it's ruled by the moon, which it's like this duality that comes in where we understand that we make decisions from our human mind, the one that's kind of ruled by fight or flight, but we also have another side, that the moon side of it all, which is our intuition. You can even see she's kind of blindfolded here, which is this message that you're able to not make a decision strictly by our logical human fight or flight mind, but that you learned that there's this gut feeling, especially Pisces, your water signs. You're intuitive, you feel emotions, you connect to the spiritual realm more easily than most signs. And so you have this ability to get other information, the unseen, from the eye in the sky, outside of space and time, that sees everything from the higher perspective. So you get clarity. And so over this last year, you really learn to tune in to listening to that voice from within, that whisper of love from within that gave you information, that allowed you to make decisions more easily, and to have things unfold more easily for you too because of it. Let's see what else we got here. Yep, 7, Chariot. So you had victory, and it's also the power of choice card for me, because you always have a choice no matter what is happening here. It also has this message of, in the major arcana, there's like 22 cards. You move the full, there's 21, which gives you 3 rows of 7. And the first row, which this is the 7, it's at the end of it, is about your human experience, your ego experience. It's like the culmination of everything you learned in your life to know that there's more, and then you move on to this connection, because the second row is about you realizing that you're also a spirit, not just a human body, and about that joining together of those. And the Chariot is the beginning of that, the spawning of that. And so I really feel that is so significant with everything that you've been learning with this. It's brought you to this point where you understand that you may not be able to control the circumstances that come into your life, but you're able to choose what it means. What story are you going to put to that circumstance? What emotion are you going to choose to feel about that? And that was what the Swords is this decision making. Again, Chariot is your choice, your decision making. So you really, this last year has been this aha about, I get to choose how I feel about everything and what story I put to it. So a really empowering year, bringing you into this next year that's coming up. And you've got the 9 of Coins. Now, the coins are pentacles, which is about your outside world. And she's in this garden by herself. She still has her feathered friends, her messengers, which represents like spirit and our higher support team on the other side. But this is about feeling whole and complete, independently of everything else in the outside world. So she's found her worth. She finds her wholeness and her completeness in the world. You've been doing a lot of inner work here, and this you apply into your physical world. And you feel abundant. You feel like you have everything you need in this moment, and you're not freaking out about everything that's going on around you, because you feel safe and secure, like in your own secret garden inside. And because you have this knowing that no matter what comes, you get to choose what it means, you do feel whole and complete. So everything you've been learning, throughout this last year, you get to apply this throughout this year, and you feel it, and it just feels awesome. I mean, it just feels, I feel blessed, you feel lucky, you feel just overflowing. Your life just feels like I have everything I could ever possibly need, right? And that brings us into the endings and new beginnings. And you have the 8 of Coins, the 8 of Pentacles. And this is all about you're learning, you're growing, you're applying in, and it's like you're graduating, because it's like this like this person was an apprentice and they've been doing the job, they've been fine-tuning their skills, mastering their skills, and now you're ready to move from from student to teacher, from apprentice to master, from frontline person to supervisor. It's like that kind of feel to it, where you've done the work, you've put it all in, you've taken the time, and now it's time to shine, and you have reached that master level, right? Because this is the 8, this is right before it here. And I didn't mention this, but so this is like the number 9. When we add these together, 11 of 2020, when you add all those numbers together, that equals an 8. When you add 11, 2021, that equals a 9, and then the same here, adding those together for this here equals a 10. So this is so fitting, because this is the year of where you're understanding and fine-tuning this feeling of worth, and it just allows you to, like I said, move on up, making a stepping up to the next level. And then you have the 8 of coins, and you have the 8 of cups. And the 8 of cups is all about, you can see how they're stepping on up. They're leaving behind what no longer serves, and this is emotionally. So those emotions that allowed you to experience the things in the past happened on purpose, for a purpose, and it served its purpose, but now you're ready to let go of it and walk away from it. And I love that, we started off talking about the moon there, and here you are stepping up and walking up to that connection up to the moon right there. So love that. So definitely moving to this next step in your awareness in the spiritual realm, awareness in the physical realm, and just really there's this just beautiful abundance about it all. You just feel, moon is also, of course, cups are emotions, so your emotional world, your physical world is just unfolding beautifully. So I am loving that for you. And then lastly, we're going to pull a card here from the Divine Guidance cards and just see what the Creator wants you to know about this 3-year little mini adventure among your whole life adventure. Just what was the purpose of this, or what does He want you to do with it, or just what information they'd like to provide, because we'll take whatever we can get, right? Right, Creator, for our Pisces, what would you like them to know about this 3-year mini adventure of these 11 portals? Okay, that's the one right there. Oh, I went down too. So, got card 33. Beautiful. And card 15. Beautiful green. There you go. All right, so card 33. This is the Lion Guide, and Lion Guide is here to help you awaken the sleeping lion that lies within you. Your inner lion is powerful, resourceful, and mighty. You really do hold the strength and courage to do whatever needs to be done. It's time to let the world hear you roar. Lion Guide is here to help you realize that you do rule your inner and outer worlds. This is your inner world, and that's your outer world, right? You do rule it, and to energetically claim your throne as the rightful ruler of your kingdom. Once you do, you'll step into the role as a leader with ease. Yep, so like mastering, leading, right? And then card number 15. Wow, so you got the Lion Guide, and then you got the Dragon Guide. There's only like 2 or 3 guides in this entire deck. So you definitely have spiritual support, with that little dove. So Dragon is here to help you take a stand in your life. Others may have strong opinions about what you should be doing or how you should be doing it. Could also be that others are interfering when they should not be. So dragon has come to help you stand firm for what you believe is right, even if that means breathing a little fire to get your point across. Don't worry, it'll be okay. Dragon is here to help you claim your power and your right to live your life as you see best. I love it. So both a lion and a dragon, courage, standing up for you and for what you want to do and with your life, how you want to just have it unfold. But you are the ruler of your choices. This is what this chariot was all about, is that you have the power of choice. You get to control what everything means about and what you can do with that. So I love, love, love this for you. All right, well, I'm going to leave the reading here. And I hope you enjoy this portal energy for November 11th and for this journey that's coming up here for you and has been going on for you. And I'm just going to leave right there. And so I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. But until then, you have an amazing life and a 3-year adventure. You take care.